Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a wrap-up questionnaire of 2020. Yesterday I watched a video on As Is, a channel on YouTube, and they did kind of a 2020 wrap-up. They answered questions concerning the year 2020 and their mental health and just their relationships and different things. And I thought that would be kind of a fun video to do. So I did write down some questions that I am just going to be reading and answering as I do my makeup. And I am testing the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Foundation Stick. Somehow I got this for free when I placed a CVS order. They had a coupon, buy one, get one free. I only put this in my cart and it came out free. So this was like a $19 stick foundation for free. So we are going to give that a try. And I am testing the Hard Candy Blurring and Pore Refining Sheer Envy Loose Powder that I showed in my powder declutter. So if you haven't seen that, I will link that for you above and below. I'm going to go ahead and spray my face. I probably won't mention every product I'm using, so I'll just list it for you in the description box below. First question is, during quarantine, I have been. So during quarantine, I've really just been home. I have been a stay-at-home mom since Steven was, well, before he was born. I started staying home that summer of 2017, so I'm still a stay-at-home mom. And so really even before, you know, coronavirus and quarantine hit, I was home. The only places I really go or went was church and to get groceries. And even now, I do click lists, so I rarely go in a store, and our church is online only. So our Bible studies and our services are all online. During quarantine, I have been home. I really don't go anywhere. I mean, I've went shopping a couple times back when, and of course, you know, you wear your mask and all of that, but I mean, I haven't gone anywhere. I haven't been around really any large groups of people. And the boys definitely have been home. Like, we really haven't gone anywhere, like, besides my parents. And even that's very rarely because, you know, they have their own situations that they're trying to be cautious of and remain safe. So there really hasn't been a lot of doing or going anywhere. And I know that a lot of people have, you know, been experiencing that same thing. And in the beginning, it was kind of nice. Well, I know for a lot of people it was nice, but for me, it was kind of like the norm. I was already a quarantine before quarantining was in. During quarantine, I've just been here. Really just do. I guess I am very lucky in the sense that quarantining didn't really affect me as far as like my day-to-day job or my day-to-day happenings, or like I didn't have kids that were old enough to be affected by this who are in school. So, you know, quarantining really didn't have like a major impact on me and my daily schedule. Okay, next. What advice would you give your early 2020 self if you could? Hold on, sister. My early 2020 self, I would tell her you're going to be okay. It's going to be rough, but you're going to be okay. I think one of the hardest parts about this year for me was that, yes, I didn't go anywhere, really. But like I had the option. So like when I would have those hard days, I'm like, well, I could go do this, or, you know, I could go here. Or, you know, come the weekend, well, I can get out and I can go here for a little bit, or like I can go sit down and eat lunch with my sister or something in town for a little bit. And then when quarantine really got intense, it was like, well, now even my potential escapes were taken away. You know, my breaks, my ability to just kind of relax and release for a little bit, those opportunities were kind of taken away. So the advice I would give myself is, it's going to be rough, but you're going to be fine. I mean, here we are in December, and honestly, I feel like I'm in the best place mentally that I have been. I still have really hard days, but like I'm more aware of my cycles. How did your overall outlook on life evolve? Really, I know that we all say this and it's kind of cliche, but like, be thankful for what you have. So many people lost so much this year, whether they actually lost people, family members and friends, or they lost their jobs, or I mean their homes. There was so much there were so many unknowns, so much instability this year that I'm really, you know, my outlook has evolved to like, wow, you really need to be thankful for what you have because it could change in an instant. And I know that we say that, but like, I guess this year actually put that like in front of our eyes, like realistically how quickly that can actually happen and how real that possibility is. Okay, next question. What major goal did you lay the foundation for? So Josh and I both are, well, he's definitely more adamant about it. Like I'm excited about it and I'm for it, but I have a hard time following through with it, I will admit. We are working through the Dave Ramsey money makeover. And so we are really trying to learn to budget and track our expenses and really stick to a budget. And it is really hard. I'm not going to lie. It's definitely a mindset to be like, okay, well, we've spent this much. Now we can't spend any more. I don't know. I'm not very good at that. I've definitely been trying, like with makeup, you know, I decluttered and then I got this because it was free. And so not impulse buying and getting things just to, for me anyway, getting things just to have to review and then putting them in a drawer where they're going to sit and not be used, which is definitely the mindset I was in when I first started YouTube, because that was really, it was very heavy reviews versus tutorials, and I am kind of trying to do more tutorials and just different content where I'm still having fun with makeup, but it's not focused on testing the newest thing just to be the first one to test it, because that definitely was a mindset that I had to get myself out of. So that goal, we are setting the foundation for that in that we are budgeting, we are tracking our expenses and our incomes and our bills, really trying to start saving as much money as we can to pay towards debts, to become debt free and start working through that whole process so that we can live like no one else, whatever his saying is, and that we can be able to give more. So that's definitely a major goal that we have been discussing and talking about, and then now towards the end of this year we're like, okay, we really need to get our act together and get on this boat and get serious about it. All right, now we're gonna have just a couple questions about makeup. My favorite makeup product I discovered in 2020 was, okay, so that would definitely have to be this formula from ColourPop, their Luxe Velvet Liquid Lipsticks. I love this. It somehow blurs your lips. It's absolutely beautiful. I have it in Buttercup, Ingenue, and it's a banger. Absolutely love this formula. Love the colors. I don't know what it is about this, but like when you put it on, it just blurs the edges of your lips. It reminds me a lot of how Raw Beauty Christy would always do her lips and kind of like, not melt them, but like, I don't know, there's just something about it that I really like that makes your lips look blurred. It's really beautiful, and it's a really nice formula. Probably my other, like if I had to pick a top two, my other would be the Hard Candy Smoothing Primer Balm. I've tried the Tatcha, I've tried the e.l.f. Original, I've tried the e.l.f. Luminous, and I really do like the Luminous, but definitely this Hard Candy one is my favorite. To me, it's the most like the Tatcha as far as the creaminess, and for me it does the best job in filling in my pores. Even compared to the Tatcha, I would honestly choose the Hard Candy over the Tatcha primer. Alright, now we're going to try this Hydra Boost Stick Foundation. This is in the shade Natural Ivory. I'm almost guaranteeing that it's going to be too dark, but the shade I wanted was out of stock online, so we're just going to make it work. I love this brush. I tried to list it for you before. It's my favorite stick foundation brush, but I can't find it anymore on Amazon. It's from the brand Beauty Junkies. It's a round kabuki. It's just very stiff. I love this brush for stick foundations. So let's go ahead. Like I said, this is probably going to be the wrong color, but we're just going to try to make it work. Ooh, that is very creamy. It's definitely hydrating, which for primer I did go in with my L'Oreal Visible Lift Luminous Serum Tint. Yeah, like when I'm looking at it in the mirror, I can definitely see the shine coming from it. Dang it, all my hair. It's not really covering up my redness though on my cheek. Let's see if it's buildable. Oh no, don't have a good feeling about this one, but let's go on to the next question. What was my least favorite product I tried? Okay, I don't even own this anymore because it was so bad that I actually returned it, and I very, very rarely return makeup. It was this lip product from Physicians Formula, from like their Rose All Day line. I actually mentioned this in another video, but I can't remember what video that was. It was awful. I did not like the feel of it, the texture. The color was okay, but it wasn't anything that like I couldn't find in products that I already owned. And the smell was awful. It was awful. Like it smelled like rotten caramel apple, like rotten fair. I don't know. It was awful. I did not like it. And I actually did, like I said, I ended up returning it because I thought there's no way that I'm going to use this, and I'm not going to waste my money by keeping this in my collection when I know that I'm not going to use it. Also, my other least favorite product is this Revlon Photo Ready Prime Plus Brightening and Skin Tone Evening Makeup Skincare Primer, complex infused with lemon extract and vitamin E and C. I think it's the lemon extract or something about this. This made my face burn. And I tried it out twice. And I tried it because Sabrina had said that this was a comparable dupe to the Stila One Step Correcting Kitten. I did notice the similarity, but this made my skin burn and it made me kind of itch. So this is full, but I had to stop using it because I did not like how it made my skin feel. So definitely this and that lip product were my least favorite from the year. I've got the foundation on my entire face, and I am just going over it with a dry sponge to just kind of pat it into the skin. It's looking very dewy, very luminous. I don't know how well people with oily skin would like this. So what I'm going to do is, because I want to test out that powder, on half of my face I'm going to set with the Wet n Wild because this is a powder I know, and then on this side I'm going to do the hard candy to kind of see how this one reacts with the foundation. So I am just going to take a very fluffy, let's see, got this brush and this brush. So I'm going to take this brush into the Wet n Wild. That looks really bad on my cheek. Really bad on my cheek. Shoot. Alright, so on this side, let's go in with a fluffy brush. Uh-oh. I think this is going to make it darker. Look at that. I feel like this is going to make my foundation darker. Okay, so that side was the hard candy. I actually will say I like how the hard candy side looks better than the Wet n Wild. It doesn't look as weird on my cheek. Now, I will say that on this side, like, the foundation is already coming off right here. But on this side, it's not coming off, but it looks here. On this side, the foundation isn't lifting, but it looks like, can you see it settling into my pores on that side? It looks really odd on that side. So let me take a little bit of my lavender powder for my under eyes and my nose. One word I would use to describe my mental health in 2020 is evolving. Like I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the video, I have recognized a little bit as the year has gone on the ups and downs that I kind of go through. And I honestly think a lot of it is hormonal now that I'm noticing those ups and downs. And I'm going to talk to my doctor about that when I go in February. Because it's like I've noticed when I hit my peaks and when I hit my valleys. And so on one hand that's good, but on the other hand, when I'm in those valleys, it's really hard to tell myself. I get in those valleys and sometimes my mind, like my outlook just gets dark, and I try to be positive, but it's really hard. It's really hard. So definitely my mental health is evolving, working on definitely getting my mind right, like spending time in the Word, focusing on things that are good and true, and having that knowledge in my mind so that whenever I go to these dark places, I can just speak truth. So definitely working on that more. Next, the hardest part of this year for my mental health has been, I think I kind of hit on that, was like my possibilities were taken away. When we really had to quarantine, it was like, well, I can't even do this now, or I don't even have the possibility. Like going to church was definitely something that helped me. And then when we got really into quarantine, where, you know, we went back to online services, that took away my only real time to connect with people, to see people, even though we had 2 services. So it was a smaller crowd and we all separated and we wore our masks, but still it was like, wow, at least I'm in this room with other people, you know, living life. Whereas one of the hardest parts was when that was taken away, was like, now I really don't see anyone or connect with anyone except like through Messenger or through Facebook. So for me, that's definitely been, I don't know if it's the hardest, but it's been one of the hardest parts, was just really, and I know that that's been for a lot of people, like being isolated. It's not good for us. Like, I know for me especially, I'm a social person. Like, I like being around people. I like my me time, but I also like being around people. So not even having that option was hard. Like, this year we're not having our New Year's Eve service, and that was always really fun, which I think we only made it to one because when they started doing it, we started having kids. But like when we did go, that was really fun to just spend time with each other and to just be in other people's company. Like my mom, I went to see my mom. She came here to watch my kids when I took the dog to the vet, and I hugged her and I was like, oh, human contact, and she laughed. And I was kind of kidding, but I was also kind of serious. It was nice to, you know, be around somebody else that, you know, you're used to being around, and then because of quarantine, you really haven't been. So during quarantine, my friendships have been, I don't know, it's kind of like a 50-50 thing. Like, I feel like I kind of lost some of the closeness I had in some of my friendships because I really haven't been able to be a part of anything, especially with the kids. I will say that I have been more intentional about quarantining, not letting people over. And then on the other hand, I've really reached out to some friends, like through social media and stuff, and talked to them more. So it's kind of like some friendships suffered, but some friendships like kind of blossomed. So it's kind of a 50-50 situation for me right now. Okay, something I'm proud of accomplishing in 2020 is, it might sound silly because YouTube right now is not something that I get paid for, but I am proud of kind of sticking to a consistent schedule for the most part. I think I've missed maybe twice. My goal is to upload twice a week, but I have been doing 3 times a week, and so to be able to stay consistent to that, I actually have been really proud of it. And gaining subscribers, it just shows me that, you know, there's other people out there who are interested in the same things I am. And they, like, it's a sense of community almost. Like, not everybody in my circle is as obsessed with makeup as I am, or as interested in makeup as I am. And so to have kind of found a community where I can discuss that is nice. And then being consistent in my uploading schedule makes me feel, I don't know, it kind of gives me the same satisfaction as when I was working, like having deadlines and producing something and having, like being able to accomplish something and having something to show for your efforts is definitely something that I have been proud of. Also, I'm proud that I have been able to be more open about how I'm feeling with people around me, with Josh. I'm becoming more able to vocalize when I'm feeling something. Maybe I can't always explain why it is, but I can be like, okay, I'm having a moment, like, or like being able to express what I'm feeling. So then it kind of lets everybody know, like, okay, instead of just huffing off mad, I'll be like, I'm gonna take a half hour. I'm gonna take 20 minutes or whatever, or like I'm gonna go to the store just to get out of the house for a few minutes, or being like, okay, I'm feeling anxious and I don't know why, and then Josh will give me a big hug, which for some, I'm like Temple Grandin. I like when he hugs me, it like releases the pressure. So I'm proud that I've been able to accomplish that and being more vocal versus just being upset and frustrated and not being able to say or wanting to say why. Now that I have a full face on and the foundation is done, let's take a look. So it is like breaking apart on my forehead and really settling into my lines. Like, can you see that? It's like breaking apart here. It's already coming off my chin. Yeah, it just honestly looks like it's going to melt off my face at any second. Like, that's so weird. I never have that issue with the lines in my forehead where foundation actually like settles down into those lines. So I'm gonna try to pat those out and press a little powder into them, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, that's not helping. Look at that line. I'm gonna have to say this foundation is a no-go for me. Do not like the powder. Actually look really nice. It didn't add a lot of darkness like I thought it would, but again, I did go in with a very fluffy brush. I mean, I don't see anything revolutionary about it, but it's definitely not bad. Yeah, this foundation is like breaking apart and sliding. Ooh, is like breaking apart and sliding off everywhere. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give that foundation a thumbs down. Last question, what I will bring into 2021 is definitely being more vocal about my issues. I actually want to speak to my doctor about looking at my hormones as to potentially one of the issues that or one of the reasons or causes that I have, like my depression and anxiety. I want to be more vocal about looking for help, potentially seeking therapy, just to be able to talk to someone outside of my circle who is who's more experienced with this kind of a thing. You know, someone who's more experienced in this area than I am, obviously, and can look at me and be like, you're not crazy. It's like, here's some issues, here's what we need to work through. Just someone who can help kind of jump in here with me and help me out. What I also want to bring is definitely being more focused as far as doing our budgeting, really paying attention to our finances. I want to put more good things into my mind. Like on January 6th, I'm going to start this study from Christy Wright that I am super excited about, and just putting good things in my mind versus letting the bad kind of overtake me and sink me. I don't want that anymore. So those are a couple things that I want to bring into 2021. I also would love to see my channel hit 100 subscribers. I want to continue uploading videos, just kind of doing different content as far as makeup, tutorials, vlogging, maybe even cooking. Just I never really set a like, this is my niche thing, because I just do whatever I enjoy. Like, I don't want to have to maintain multiple channels. I don't want to do anything like that. So I really just want to do the things I enjoy, whether that's videoing my kids or videoing me cleaning or, you know, vlogging or car chats. I really like car chats. I forget that when we're in the car talking, I'm just like blabbing. So that's something I enjoy. Definitely still doing makeup. I love doing makeup. I love just sitting down and playing. Like, this eye look today is kind of interesting. I used the NYX Ultimate Utopia palette. The, yeah, like the smaller version, not the big one, but the smaller. Really am loving this green color. So those are some things I want to take into 2021. Let me know, what are your answers to some of these questions down below? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you will like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.